Breaking news. CMS stopped $1.6 billion in laboratory fraud. But who opened the door? The government continues warning us about the rising cost of Medicare. We hear that Medicare is becoming too expensive to maintain. Benefits must be reduced. Payments must be cut. Seniors may have to pay more. Insurance agents are expected to provide more service while being paid less, or sometimes nothing at all. But now CMS is proudly announcing that it stopped more than $1.6 billion in potentially fraudulent laboratory payments. And they want us to applaud. I'm glad that fraud was discovered. Every fraudulent payment should be stopped, and every stolen dollar should be recovered. But CMS, you don't get a Medal of Honor for stopping the bleeding when you helped open the wound. These were not Medicare beneficiaries committing this fraud. These were companies that CMS enrolled in the Medicare program and permitted to submit claims. They were given the Medicare equivalent of a gold card, access to the system, access to taxpayer dollars, and potentially access to beneficiaries' Medicare information. CMS says it revoked 157 fraudulent laboratory providers, suspended payments involving another 185 laboratories, identified hundreds of overpayments, and referred additional cases to law enforcement. One individual reportedly enrolled 14 laboratories and billed Medicare more than $24 million, even though none of those laboratories was found to be operational. Let me repeat that so it sinks in. 14 laboratories, not one of them was operational. So how did one person successfully enroll 14 non-existent laboratories in Medicare? Who verified their addresses? Who confirmed that the laboratories were operating? Who examined the ownership? Who approved their billing privileges? And who released millions of dollars in payments? I'll tell you one thing, it wasn't a senior. Yet, when Medicare spending rises, beneficiaries are treated as though they are the problem simply because they use the healthcare program they paid into throughout their entire working lives. Seniors are told Medicare is too expensive. They're told they are overusing services. They face higher premiums, reduced benefits, stricter authorizations, narrower provider networks, and more barriers to receiving care. But how much of Medicare's rising cost is the result of beneficiaries receiving legitimate health care, and how much is the result of improper payments, weak oversight, and companies that should have never, ever been admitted into the program? Stop blaming seniors for what the government permitted. CMS enrolled and Medicare paid. Beneficiaries did not approve these laboratories. Beneficiaries didn't issue provider numbers. Beneficiaries did not pay fraudulent claims. And beneficiaries should not lose services, benefits, or access to care because CMS failed to properly vet the companies it authorized to bill the program. This is simply unconscionable. And then there are the insurance agents. Agents like me and several others that are being asked to educate seniors, solve enrollment problems, investigate suspicious activity, report potential fraud, and serve as unpaid watchdogs for the federal government. At the same time, agent compensation is being reduced or eliminated on certain plans, even though Helping agents and helping other seniors continues every day. CMS wants agents to sound the alarm when something looks suspicious. But if CMS were doing its job at the front door, it would not need thousands of unpaid watchdogs standing at the back door. Insurance agents are not federal fraud investigators. We are licensed professionals who help seniors understand their options, protect their health care, and navigate a system that becomes more complicated each and every year. If the government expects agents to perform compliance, education, and fraud prevention work on its behalf, then agents should be respected and compensated for the services they provide. So yes, absolutely stop fraud. Use artificial intelligence. Use machine learning. Investigate suspicious billing. Revoke fraudulent providers. Recover every dollar possible and prosecute the people responsible behind all of it. But don't stand in front of the American people and pretend this is only a victory. It is also evidence of a massive failure in oversight. CMS, these companies entered your system. You permitted them to bill. You paid them. Now take responsibility for how that happened. Stop blaming seniors who paid into Medicare and depend on it for their health care. Stop cutting services because of costs created by fraud that beneficiaries did not commit. Stop expecting insurance agents to work without compensation while performing responsibilities that belong solely to the United States government. And stop asking for applause because you finally closed the door after billions of dollars may have already passed through it. Government and CMS, this is your responsibility, not the beneficiaries, not the legitimate healthcare providers, and definitely not the insurance agents serving seniors every day. Shame on anyone who tries to make seniors feel guilty for using the Medicare benefits they earned while failing to hold accountable the system that permitted, licensed, and paid the people who stole from it. Seniors are not the problem and never have been. Fraud is the problem. Improper vetting is the problem. A lack of accountability is the problem. Fix the system, recover the money, and protect the people Medicare was created to serve. I'm Monet Swan, and this is breaking news from Secure 65 Health Plans. Stay informed, stay protected, and stay empowered. This is a message that is not political. It simply states the fact that everyone who pays into the system should be aware of. As always, I love you guys, and I will always fight for my beloved seniors. We need people who care for us, and I will always care for my seniors and bring you the truth. Now share this information with others so everyone is in the know.
Secure 5 health plans, breaking